You came to the crib, Phil's crib, where he shares his opinions on random topics. And now, here's your host, Phil.
In this edition of Phil's Crib, NBA player Stephen Curry's wife, Ayesha Curry, had put up a tweet that has made a lot of women upset that she would actually have the audacity to write a tweet like that in 2015. Now, let's go ahead and go to the article and let's look at this and examine this. Okay, so we're looking at the article here on vibe.com. If you haven't checked out Vibe, check it out sometime. We try to support the publications if we can. So we'll scroll down here. This Ayesha Curry, as you can see, with her husband. And you see how she's dressed there. She's not showing anything, but to me, they look like they dress pretty fine to me. All right, so it said another day, another Twitter debate, as always. In many ways, 2015 was a big year for feminism, and Ayesha Curry is closing it out with a conversation about modesty, taking to Twitter to share her thoughts on the latest fashion trends, and they scroll down about, who she is and all that. So this is what got the stuff started. At Ayesha Curry, everyone's into barely wearing clothes these days, huh? Not my style. I like to keep the good stuff covered up for the one that matters. Nothing wrong with what she said. That is her opinion. She didn't put anybody's name in it, but that's what a woman in her position would say, because you have to look at what she has versus a lot of women who don't dress in the way that she dressed. And before some people say something about the amount of money she has, money has nothing to do with anything about the way you dress. So we continue to look at just looking at the latest fashion trends. I'll take classy over trendy any day of the week. Now, trendy these days is twerking. That's trendy. Something that's classy would be ballroom dancing. Salsa is classy. Trends are like the dab. People doing all different variation of versions of nay and all this other stuff. That's trends. So she's speaking about the trend of women barely putting on some clothes, and she's not lying about it. If you look at Instagram, the females that show themselves for the most part are the ones with the hundreds of thousands of followers, sometimes in the millions of followers. It's like the more those females get followers, the more they want to copy them. We're talking about the other females. Now, if we scroll down, she says, all I'm doing is sitting here reading a style weekly. You guys definitely entertain me, as for sure. Well, that's fine. Her page, her opinion. But some people got real mad about that. And, they mentioned Amber Rose, and we'll put her up as well. And, talking about Minister Farrakhan with and all that other stuff. But check this out. So Alita James says, reading what Ayesha Curry said and thinking, that's nice, but still a man somewhere who still called you a hoe at some point. What they got to do with anything? See, this is what a lot of people do when they don't really have any concrete reaction or concrete point to what you're going to say. They're going to resort to name calling. They're going to resort to saying things that has nothing to do with the conversation. Okay, the next user wrote, sounds as if Ayesha Curry thinks her body / other women's bodies are like consumer goods marketed exclusively for the use of men or something. All right, that person right there is clear feminist language. And I really need to cover in a Phil's Crib why black women are silly for being feminists, but that's another story. This stuff here, this woman is married, period. And according to how it's supposed to be, your body don't belong to you anymore anyway. Her husband's body don't belong to him, it belongs to her. And her body belongs to him, according to the way it's supposed to be. And half of these women that's running around, these raging feminists, you can't get a man anyway. So what you can worry about what she says on that department. Now you have another chick, another black chick, saying that, when Curry said she's keeping the goods covered, I couldn't help but think she was talking about items one find at the market, and in this case, the insistence upon taking responsibility for these downfalls, embracing modesty, disproportionately falls on women. Okay. So she said, I couldn't help but think about how we are taught to preserve the body in often ridiculous ways for the benefit of someone else. When Curry says she's keeping the goods and all this other stuff, fine, as repeat. Then I want you to recognize who jumped in this conversation. Now, I don't even know why she jumping in the conversation for Jonetta Elise. Now, who she is that main chick be a Black Lives Matter. Like, I've said to myself, I'm trying to make sure I try to stay on the high road much as possible when I'm doing these commentaries, because I don't want to get into what these people are getting to. But Jonetta doesn't wear scantily clad clothes. And if you look at Jonetta, you probably would get it. Okay, I'm not going to go there. But for her to say frightening how Ayesha Curry's comments inspired so many men to resort to being disrespectful and threatening toward women who didn't agree. Well, let's look at it. I don't care what you say. I don't care what a feminist say or whatever. Men is going to treat you the way you dress, period. You dress classy, you dress respectful, you're going to get that kind of reaction out of men. If you dress scantily clad, tight clothes, all your booty cheeks out, men is going to react to you in that way. They're gonna look at you in a sexual manner. I don't care less of your opinion about women should be able to basically be half naked. A man's supposed to respect them. They're not going to respect you, period. It's not in our DNA to respect women who walking around looking like prostitutes, looking like strippers, looking like porn stars. We are not going to do it, and we sure as hell is not going to marry a woman walking around like that, because that woman is a reflection of you as a man. And you don't want every Tom, Dick, Harry, Tyrone, Miguel, and everybody else looking at your chick like that. Well, my thing is this: what you advertising? If you're walking around like that and you got a husband or a boyfriend, why you advertising for? Why you on the internet posting all them pictures? Who you trying to get? Because that's how most men gonna think about the junk. Let's go ahead and scroll down. And I see somebody put that picture up. That's funny. They say, "Oh, tears." And okay, so somebody was supporting her. Said, if Ayesha Curry offended you in any form or fashion, you a hoe. And if you disagree, you probably a hoe too. Okay, scroll down. I see nothing wrong with Ayesha Curry said. What Ayesha Curry said, sorry. Stares at the offended though. Chris Brown. Don't be mad at Ayesha Curry because she got a wedding ring and you can't even get ketchup with your burger. Boy, now see, that's my response right there. Because most of the females that's complaining don't really have a man, and they wonder why. You're not gonna really get a man that love you and want to work hard and try to provide a good life and build something with you when you walking around dressing like you're a stripper. Sorry, just not gonna happen. Now you may get some simps, you may get them, and they idiots. But we talking about the average, everyday, real man, the alpha male that a lot of women want. Because I just seen the other day on the show where a woman was like, I can't be with him because he let me run over him, he let me do this, and it was a white chick saying it. So I don't think it was just a black girl that talk like that. This guy writes, these hoes, I don't know, I guess hoes should put, will forever be confused. J. Cole said you don't want to be saved, and Ayesha Curry told you how to be, I guess, a wife, but y'all tight fools. Okay. So after that, she wrote, regardless of if you like my style of clothes or not, which I don't care, please do not tear women down, degrade them, not cool peeps. Well, Ayesha Curry, I'm gonna tell you why those guys did that. So Mrs. Curry, the reason why a lot of men were reacting that way about the way the women dress today and are highly supportive of you to the point they are attacking in a sense. I know you just want to respond that way because you probably was getting a lot of backlash and flack from these women that say, look, these guys are attacking us because of what you just said. As men, a lot of men are actually sick and tired of seeing women dress like what you look at on the screen. You see Amber Rose and Black China. There's a lot of women that look up to that. They like the attention they get from men, and it's the wrong kind of attention. Versus, look at how you're dressing. When we want to get a wife, we want our wives to dress like you, Mrs. Curry. We don't want our wives to dress like Amber Rose and Black China. When men see those women, they're not looking at wife at all. You're not saying, okay, this is the woman that I want to build with. This is the woman I want to be the mother of my kids. This is the woman that I'm cool with going to school PTA meetings with. This is the woman I'm going to bring before my family. We're not thinking like that when it comes to women like Amber Rose. You don't do that. They are midnight creeps. They are women that you holler at the close of the club or whatever you're trying to do. Take them to the room, do your thing, and don't really talk to them much no more. Bottom line, I'm calling it like it is when it comes to men. I don't really care about your 2015 thinking. Some things just never change. And it's within the DNA of men in general to not want to marry women like that. Now, some guys are celebrate the way those women look because they're not in that place in their life when they want to settle down, get them a wife, build a family. So they'll support those females all day long. But when a man wants a family, do you think we're going to bring home Amber Rose the way she's dressed in this picture to meet our mothers? We could do that, but boy, we about to get told from one end of the street to the next about, boy, you bringing that hoe in my house. You sit up there and gonna bring that hoe into our family. It'll be on and on and on and on and on. So a lot of dudes are sick and tired of that, seeing these women do this sort of thing. And then it's so bad that American society is so low right now that a woman stating she'd rather be classy over looking like hoes starts a big debate to the point that it becomes in the news. And I say, wow, that is bad. Because what's something that should just be the norm, as what Ayesha Curry is talking about, now all of a sudden it's controversial to say I'm going to respect myself. It's controversial to say I'm going to show my private parts to my husband and not to every guy in the world. That's controversial to say that. That's offensive to say that. Oh, America has fallen in a lot of ways. But I could tell you, Mrs. Curry, you have spoken up for a lot of women that sick and tired of that. You have spoken up for a lot of the silent majority in this country who are tired of seeing the most depraved society we have ever seen in this nation. The Sodom and Gomorrah society, the do whatever you want to do society. Is no restraints. I mean, these people in this country is just going crazy. So, Mrs. Curry, I appreciate that you brought up this issue because I'm with you 100%. I support everything you said. When it comes to my wife dressed no different than you. She don't be walking around like that. Even when I met her, she wasn't dressing like that. Because if I'd have met my wife and she was dressing like those two on the right-hand side of this picture, I wouldn't have said two words to her because I wouldn't want that kind of woman. When I was dating at that point, I said, okay, I'm looking for a woman I can be serious with and possibly even get married if she's the right woman. But it's not going to be no scantily clad woman. That's just not what you do. And most men can't do that. And I tell brothers, I don't want brothers out here fooling with the Amber Roses of the world. I mean, I get you go through them phases, but in our community, we need to build families. That's our biggest issue. We need to get out of all that mess, bring our families together, and have big families too. Not just, oh, I want 1 or 2. Man, forget that. Let's have 4, 5 kids. Because we need to get our community back up the way it was, because y'all letting all these folks come in with all these different ideas and bringing that abortion crap to our community and all this other stuff that you done, and it's literally killed off 16 million of our people. So no, I'm definitely supportive of big families and being fruitful and multiplying. You're married, you stay together, you raise your kids, because people in our community did that for decades. Okay, stayed together 40 and 50 years. And raise good families. So why can't we continue to do it? See, the thing is, we have to support people like Mrs. Curry who dare take this stand and say they're not going to dress like a hoe. And she didn't bash nobody in the process. It's one of those things that the shoe fits, wear it, and a lot of people wore that shoe, period. And that's why they reacted to her in that way. Of course, there was more tweets than that, but there was just a few they showed in that article. But I don't know what y'all think about it. I support Miss Curry 100%. Any man in his right mind would rather their wife dress like Ayesha Curry versus Amber Rose and Black China just showing everything to people. Leave me your thoughts.
Make sure to subscribe to this channel where we also feature so disrespectful YouTube comments and Advice Show Radio. Want news that isn't politically correct or influenced by corporate agenda? Subscribe to the Advice Show TV, where we present media with a common sense approach. Looking for something funny to get you through the day? Subscribe to Ratchet Video Weekly. Thank you for listening and see you next time.